Hello. Back to the Fabriano wet in wet paper, another mountain scene. I want to try and do this fairly quickly, but although I'll spend most of the time talking, I suppose. I've used some masking fluid just on the tops of these mountains and going off into the distance. I've done this several times before, but it's the masking tape I'm trying to get used to. You can paint the rocks against a dark sky, and then when it's dry just lift it out with a wet brush and a bit of tissue. But I want it just a bit more obvious than that. And I put just a little mark here for a house. The thing about houses and sheep and things is that well, I think the sheep probably look a bit naff. I'll just let those in for now. I'll leave the house. A little house on the side of a mountain gives scale to the whole thing. You can judge the size of the mountain and the landscape from that one thing. It's just a trick. Right, okay. The 2-inch or 1 3/4 hake. Lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is getting a bit too dirty with Payne's grey, so I love mixing with Payne's grey. Okay, so I'll wet the paper all over. If you still want to know, the paints I use are Winsor & Newton Cotsman student quality watercolours. They come in tubes. Oh, that's not too wet. 21ml tubes. They're very economical. They're reasonable quality. They do the job. I think they're as colour fast as the more expensive artist quality, but they're nowhere near as saturated. But for what we're doing, it's and for if you're beginning, it's good stuff. You don't want to go lashing out £10–12 for a tube of watercolour paper and then find that it's not as easy as you thought and give up, having spent £200 or £300. Right, I'll put in the light with the raw sienna, the lights in the sky and the water. So just warms up the whole lot, the whole thing. Something go on there. Right, now a nice blue ultramarine. I think I'll bring the changes and use burnt umber with the blue for my dark. See what happens. Just softening it up a little bit because I don't use it that much. Do it on the blue side. So that's where you want your darks. Behind where you're going to put the snow. And we'll go back in with the blue now. Blue and red. So that'll be where your impact is, light against the dark, and I'll put in let's just lift off some of that. Right, okay. Let's just I'm going to probably anticipate the reflections a bit, put it tight. So let's just put in some reflection. There's going to be there are going to be some trees there. So Payne's grey, Russia, burnt lemon yellow and burnt umber. So let's just, well, it's all wet, we can, and then behind that would be a lighter colour. And then the other side, that will be a bit of a lighter green, I think. That's okay. Now you can see the effects of light red, ultramarine, burnt umber and ultramarine. It separates when the sheet of paper or your angle is sort of around about 30 degrees or less. When it's upright, it doesn't seem to do that. Right, right. While that's wet, so I'm going to put in a bit of a background now. No, just a bit of bluish sort of colour here. Right, now we'll come up here, we'll warmer colours. That one's coming down to there. All nice and mergy. And we'll put in some rocks. We can put in some rocks. I'll edge some rocks into that, so we want it nice and warm dark there. And we'll do some here. Change colours. Some nice warmer colours, and I'll put some dark green trees in here, across there. Right, really dark now. Burnt umber, Payne's grey, lemon yellow. Just want to touch that there into the water, so it just bleeds into the water. And then we'll put some greens on the other side, bounce it up a bit. let's just get a bit of sienna in there with a bit of Payne's grey. Right, while that's dry, where's my little card? We'll just put in some rocks. Okay, we can do the same here. Try to do them slightly different on that side. And there won't be too much here, but okay. Right, I'll give that a bit of a dry. Right, let's just blot the mountains, the tops, before we start to remove it. And I'll draw into those. We'll see what that does when we... I'll have to go back over that, and I'll probably put a little bit of a feature in there just to disguise it. Right, I'll use my flat about through my hake. They're nice and pristine. Right, then my palette is now a mess, so let's just clean off a little bit. So we'll have a bit of a slaty roof on that. And I'll have to put a bit of detail on there now. Just the house was just a bit hard edged for the wetness of this, so I'm just putting a bit of detail in there. Right, well that'll have to do. Right, now very, very faint. Some rocks, shadows. Probably a bit darker than that, maybe. Right, now we come into the harder craggy. So we'll no, that's not worse, is it? Would have been better. It's right, what to do? I'm mixing the techniques here. Maybe that would be better with the hake. Let's try the hake. What's happened is that I've gone in with hard edge against a very soft background, and it's not quite working. So let's just re-hard, make these edges a little bit harder. And then we can put a bit more warm. So there's a bit more detail now in this. That will hopefully solve our problem. So another problem of this painting so-called spontaneously is that it leaves you with problems that you have to try to solve if you want to persevere with the painting and try to rescue it, which I'm doing here. And then we'll have to do the same on the other side somewhat. So let's just a bit better. Right, put some trees on this here. Right, let's put some sienna. Now we can go back and just smooth out some of these again. There's too many. Right, let's put in some nice dark green. Trees here. I will put some yachts against this. Just get that beach going across there, just straighter. Now, put in some of the reflections again. Right, let's dry that off. Right, now put clean tissue and we'll start doing some lifting out now. We'll just take off that roof again there. Just lift that out. Probably too big, isn't it? Right, okay, let's put a rock in there, cover it up. We'll do so some houses here. This will scale it up a bit. Try that brush now. Sorry if I'm masking. Just putting a little village in here. These we put, this is slightly nearer, so we can make this larger. Some chimneys. Right, so see, smaller ones here. That's all we need to do really. That's just show some sparkle in the water. There's a couple of rocks here. Ooh, every little helps. So this is an exercise in rescuing a painting that's has ended up different than it started out. Right, okay. So there we are. I think that seems to be all right. I don't think I need to put anything there. I think the mount will cover up quite a lot of that. Let's just get more white there. Right, so we've reflected more or less what we can see in here. Got the little yachts in, so I'm going to let that go. I'll just sign it and I'll put it in a mount. And we'll have a have a look, see what it looks like. Just right, I think we've made a reasonable job of rescuing this. Let's put that on there, like that, and get the mount. Right, I need to come down a bit with that. Come down to that. Well, I think we've sort of lost it a little bit there. Let's just put in a darker bluey, reddy colour there. Right, we'll let that go. It's a bit like one of Stephen Cronin's, isn't it? And it's a bit too fussy. It didn't end up the way I'd anticipated, but we've made some sort of painting out of it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let's have a look and see what we've done. Now there's my distant snowy caps. That one, well, you saw the struggle I had with it. I removed that house on the mountain side. I'll just bring the camera around a bit, I think. And you can see more about what we've done along there. Look, we've put the houses in. Well, maybe that. What's that like? Oh, that's better. So that doesn't look too bad, does it? Put words into your mouth. There we are. So, hardly the Lake District, but why not? Call it something like that. Let's see if I can just get that bit lighter there. Alright, well I think that's quite interesting. It's a bit muddy, but anyway, have a go at it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.